Hey everyone, today I wanted to do a video talking to you about this Olight flashlight here. This is the M1T Raider. Now right off the bat I want to say that I did not pay for this light. It was provided at no cost by Olight, and I know that I've seen obviously a lot of other people here on YouTube doing reviews of these Olights because Olight is providing them to most of us at no cost. And I keep seeing a lot of people complain about that, worrying about whether or not people can be trusted, whether their word has been bought off by Olight, and I totally get that concern. And people are basically hesitant to listen to what the reviewers have to say because they're getting these lights for free. So I want to let you know I understand that, and I hope you can believe me when I say that I'm going to still give you my unbiased opinion on these. There are some things I would like them to change on a light like this one, but feel free to watch the rest of this video and find out what those changes would be. But I can honestly say that I have been impressed by these lights. Again, I was kind of reluctant at first because I had similar view to it as a lot of you. However, after giving them a chance myself, they've really won me over. Again, they're not perfect. There are things that I would change about this light and other lights that I reviewed and will review. But when you consider the cost, there's a lot to like here. So I would encourage you, hear me out in this video. Maybe try one for yourself, and if after that you're still having issues, I get it, but it is what it is. With that out of the way, let me go ahead and jump into my review of this light. This is meant more, so the last video, or the last light that I reviewed, I considered that one to be more of an EDC, like a true EDC light. Not really meant for tactical use, but meant for something, a very functional flashlight that you can carry on you all the time. Whereas this one, I feel like, is meant more for that tactical market. So why do I say that? So with that previous light, it was side activated, had a bunch of different brightness settings, was really small and compact, which was great. It was rechargeable. But because of some of those features, to me, it did not exemplify what I see as a tactical flashlight. This one has a lot more of those features. Now, again, some things that I would change to make it the perfect tactical light in my eyes, but this one has a lot more of those features that I like to see in one of those tactical lights. So first is the size. It is the perfect size to get a full hand grip on, and it has a tail cap actuation as opposed to the side button actuation. This means I can have a full secure grip on it and activate the light via the tail cap. Now, one of the things that I would love to see different is, in my eyes, if I'm using a light for any tactical purposes, I like momentary only. Unfortunately, that is not an option with these lights. You do have a couple different brightness settings, but when you activate it, you get that 500 lumen beam, and then it'll stay on while you're hitting it. Now, you can kind of half press it and get it to do the momentary only. However, if any of you have taken any sort of low light training or force on force training, when your adrenaline is pumping, and I'm not saying your last repetition, I'm saying your first handful of repetitions, when your adrenaline's pumping, when you go to hit that light halfway, you activate it all the way, no matter how hard you try. Now sure, maybe towards the end of the class you get really better at that, you've calmed your nerves, but I can guarantee in an actual situation that adrenaline's going to be right back up there, and you're going to tap that light when you meant to just half press it. So that's really the biggest thing, and I'll probably come back to that, but it is a toggle switch. It is not a momentary only. But again, I'll cover that more later. The other thing that I think makes it more of that tactical light is it actually is knurled here down the middle. It's got this really cool kind of helical knurling, which really locks it into your grip. So again, that mixed with the other things I've already mentioned, to me, make this more of the tactical EDC light versus just a regular functional simply EDC flashlight. Also worth mentioning, this thing is not tail cap rechargeable like the previous light that I've reviewed or some of their other lights. Was it the S1R baton, I believe was that last light. This one, you have to just swap out the CR123s, and just FYI, it does run on CR123s. And then it also does have a lanyard loop option if you want it. I haven't been carrying like that. I've been carrying it with this belt clip, or pocket clip, and I've been really happy with it. So let me dive a little bit deeper into this pocket clip. So this pocket clip here is the first time I've seen a light that has a clip like this. It might look kind of funky, and that's because you can either use this as bezel up or bezel down. You only have the one slot back here to actually secure it to the light, so you can't just flop it from one side to the other if you want it to be, you know, bezel up or bezel down. So if you see here, you have the regular style of clip to your pocket, or if you wanted to flip it over and carry it bezel up, you have this little top portion here that you can also, you can see that little tab there to open up and carry it bezel up if you wanted to. Now I've been carrying this thing bezel down in my right little, I have a little slot behind my cargo pocket. That's how I've been carrying it, and I've had no issues whatsoever with this thing coming off. It holds really well, as you can tell. It has pretty deep carry just with that little knurled bit hanging off here at the end to easily grab onto. But I really like this pocket clip design, and I have actually used it in coordination with a like a baseball cap. You can actually take this little tab, put it over your baseball cap, so you basically have a makeshift headlamp where you can clip this onto your hat, actuate it on, and then be able to look around. So that's kind of neat. And really, I could not, in my opinion, improve upon this pocket clip. It's been working great, and I traditionally have not carried with pocket clips. Only with these Olights have I been doing it, and it's been working out for me. So as you can see, I still have some sunlight left, so I can't really show you the true power of this beam. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is fast forward into the future when it's dark out and show you the beam pattern that I get with this light. Alright, so right now I'm just going to demonstrate what the beam looks like on this one, as well as compare it to the last Olight that I did a review on, which again I believe was the S1R. It's a little too dark for me to see what it's called, so I'll check that when I turn the lights on here. But right in front of me I have a wall that's about 21 feet away, so about 7 yards away. Pretty realistic distances for, say, interior buildings. So let me just go ahead and do the full power beam at that wall. So as you can see, it throws a pretty wide beam. It's spreading out a little bit more than you can probably tell there on camera, but it's covering pretty much the entirety of that wall to me, and then you can see that hot spot is still really big in the middle. So I really like this throw pattern. It's basically, I need to get a lot of light in this direction as fast as possible, and boom, you know, there you have it. So just as a way of comparison, here's that S1R baton. So here we have the S1R. It looks a little bit dimmer, pretty similar beam pattern. It still has a very wide hot spot and illuminates pretty well, spills over onto the rest of the wall. That's not necessarily coming across on camera there. And this is on the high setting, not on the turbo setting. And also, this thing hasn't been charged in a while, so that might contribute to it. But there you have it. So again, full beam with the M1T Raider, the beam from the S1R baton, and just for good measure, the low power you can't even really see on the wall. But again, the full power beam spills over onto that entire wall, again, at about 21 feet. So being a 500 lumen light, you're not getting as much brightness or as much throw as possible, but you're still getting a good amount. And I'm not one of those people. They're the people who are like, I need all the lumens. Just give me all the lumens, no matter how big the light is. I'm not one of those people. Just from my own experiences in force-on-force classes, in shoot houses, when it's really dark, I don't want a 1000 lumen beam coming out and blinding me right away. Some people will say that's not an issue. My own personal experience tells me, you know, I don't want something absurdly bright when I'm working indoors. And that's typically probably where I'm going to find myself using a handheld flashlight the most often. If I can, I like having weapon-mounted lights to relieve any of those issues. This is the Olight PL Mini, which is still in testing. But, you know, indoors I'm going to typically have a handheld light. As you can see, I have both a handheld light and a pistol light. Again, that's just kind of my own personal preference. I like being able to use a flashlight with my gun because it's nice having two hands on my gun. But if I need a flashlight and I don't need to point my gun at something, it's nice having a handheld flashlight. So I like carrying both if I can. If I'm only going to have one or the other, it's going to be a handheld light, not a pistol light, because I don't want to be pulling my gun out to look for my keys or anything like that. So for me, the 500 lumen main beam on this thing works just fine. Now, it does have a low setting, so if you don't need all 500 lumens, if you're, again, just looking for your keys or you want to read or something like that, if you quickly double tap the tail cap, it'll do only a 5 lumen beam. Now, this can be, again, handy if you're just reading or something like that, and if you press it in, it will stay on at that brightness setting, but it takes a little bit of dexterity to be able to get it to do that consistently. I have found sometimes taking a couple tries where I go full brightness a couple times before I'm able to get it to that low setting. I could do without it. Honestly, I don't care if I have that low setting or not. Typically, with my other lights where I don't have that feature, what I'll do is I'll just curl my fingers around the edge of the flashlight and cut off some of that beam if I don't need the full brightness. Personal preference. I could do without it, but it is a feature there if you want to use it as such. So I've been using this light for just over a month now. Olight typically likes people to kick out their reviews a little bit faster than that. Me personally, I like making sure I feel like I've thoroughly tested something before I review it. So I've been taking a little bit longer. So I appreciate Olight's patience if they're being patient with me. But I feel at this point saying that I really like this light. I think this is going to become my go-to EDC light now, just because in the past I've carried like the 2-cell like CR123 through nights and stream lights, and they get a little bit long for my cargo pockets. It really tears up my pants because of the way they sit in my pockets. However, something like this, I haven't had any issues with it tearing up my pockets, tearing up my pants, and to me, I just like the size of the one CR123 a lot better. Fits in my hand really well and does exactly what I need it to. And also, these come in at a really appealing price point. I think if you order direct through Olight, it's about $40, $39.99 for a really good quality, durable light like this one. It is IPX8. Let me double check that. Put a bunch of my notes on my phone before coming out here since I don't get cell reception out here. Yeah, IPX8 waterproof. I have not thoroughly tested that, but you know, who knows? I might do that. I might do that and throw that in this video right now. But I've dropped this thing a bunch. I've accidentally kicked it across parking lots before, and the finish is holding up great on it, and it's still functioning just fine, which is exactly what I want it to do. So as far as the things that I would change on it, I would say if this light was made to my own specifications, get rid of the toggle switch. I don't like that on my tactical EDC lights. I like something where I can do momentary only and press it. And again, I know if you just press it down halfway, it's momentary while you're holding it. I don't want that. I want it so where I can press it as hard as I want, and as soon as I let go, it turns off, and you don't get that with this. The way a lot of lights get around it, because it sometimes can be handy to have the constant on, especially if you're attaching it to the light, is if you really tighten down the bezel, then it does the constant on, whereas it'll do just the momentary only with the tail cap. Again, that's not the way they designed this one. That would be my preference. If they have a model like that and I don't know about it, let me know in the comments. Or if they make a model like that in the future, let me know in the comments, because I would much rather that for my EDC tactical light than this one. But if you can get past that, and also I really don't care about that 5 lumen moonlight mode or whatever you want to call it. Just once it's a tactical EDC light. I have a little keychain flashlight if I need something really dim. Hang on. I have one of these on my keys if I need something really dim. Just give me bright right away. I don't need strobe. If you're feeling fancy, throw in a strobe, but I don't need it. Just let me press and hold it for as long as I want for full power, and then when I let go, let it turn off, which this one does not do. But again, if you can get past that, it's a really good quality CR123 powered 500 lumen light for under 50 bucks, under 40 bucks really, probably not with shipping and handling, but and that's again straight through Olight. You might be able to find it cheaper elsewhere, but typically I like going through manufacturers when it comes to flashlights because there's a lot of fakers out there and don't want to trust those. But again, I'm really happy with these products that I've tested from Olight. Again, this is only the second handheld flashlight I've tested from them, and so far so good with this Olight PL Mini here on my Glock 19. Until something fails, I really can't say any different than that. And again, I get that people are hesitant to listen to the different YouTube reviews because they are throwing these out like candy. But again, I can only speak to my experience, and my experience has been very, very positive with these. And hopefully I've been able to articulate my experience enough to let you guys know that this is my honest opinion on this thing. I do want to touch really quick on battery life on this thing. I just recently swapped to my second battery on this. I went about a month using this thing, and with a battery that it came with, because it does come with a battery, which is very convenient. Because CR123s are not the cheapest batteries in the world. So I went about a month before I had to change out the battery on it. And to me, that's pretty dang good, because I was using this as much as I possibly could to get as much experience with it before doing this review. And, you know, again, about a month's worth of use, using it pretty heavily. If you use it a lot more, it may not last as long. If you use it a lot less, it'll probably last longer. That was just my experience, again, with the battery that's provided from Olight from the factory. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go and throw those in the comment section down below. I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. If there's other Olight flashlights that you want to see me review, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. I want to get a little bit more time in with this Olight PL Mini before doing my review on it. I want to do some drop testing with it, just because that's where I've run into a lot of other issues with a competitor's weapon-mounted lights. But, you know, things have been going really well with this thing, and I'm, again, so far really happy with this PL Mini. But, again, time will tell, and you'll see that review when it comes out. I am uploading to Full30, so check me out over there. If you don't watch videos there, I get it. It's not the most convenient place to watch videos. They don't have an app or anything like that. But at least subscribe over there, because YouTube has already deleted one of my videos. They're deleting other people's videos, and they've been known to delete entire channels before. So if something does happen, at least you can follow what's going on over there. If not actually watching videos over there. And I do have a Patreon page, so if you feel so inclined, definitely check that out. The patrons that I have are enormously supportive, and they really help me do a lot more than I would otherwise be able to do on this channel without their support. I upload all my content there early. I upload some exclusive content there. We do giveaways, live streams. I really try to give back to my patrons as much as possible. So again, if you feel so inclined, check that out. But I'll go ahead and jump off my soapbox about that now. So anyway, with all that said, as always, I hope you're able to get something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.